Treat Tuesday's back on the menu, boys. That's Lord of the Rings quote. Yeah, so after yesterday, I had a bit of a bitching sort of rant about how Facebook Marketplace is rubbish, and they've altered things to make it just impossible to find anything. Found a guitar this morning. It's always, when you see these things, you bet the adrenaline kicks in, and it's like oh, how long's it been on for? 6 minutes. I've got a chance. Immediate message. Yeah, so this is a guitar I've never actually owned one of before, but I hear good things and it is pretty cool. It's a Squire 51, which is, it's a Strat shape, hardtail, and I think it's a humbucker in the bridge and a single coil in the neck, and it's got a scratch plate kinda like the 51 P-Bass. I think that's maybe where the 51 comes from. It's tobacco sunburst, it's got a bit of a dent on it, but looks pretty good. It's down in Troon again. What was that? I can't Red Bull. Okay. So, and the guy is going to pick up a car. He's buying a new car in Kilmarnock, which is about 10 minutes closer than Troon is. I was quite happy to go to Troon, but he's like, I can meet you at the Asda car park, so I'm meeting him in the Asda car park in Killy. So I suppose for lunch I should probably find a Killy pie. That's one of the things the football team's famous for. If you're not from here, it's kind of like a normal pie, a Scots pie, but it's got like steak. It's just like a steak pie in a pie container. They're pretty good. I'm pretty sure I went through a stage of buying them from Aldi. But things have, since I moved house, there used to be like at a 50-50 shot, I could come down to Lidl, which I'm actually at right now, or I could go in the other direction and go to Asda and Aldi, which were about kind of the same, maybe not the same distance, but about the same amount of time to get to. So I would split, Aldi one week, Lidl the next week, whereas now I've got to drive past Lidl to get anywhere, so just go to Lidl. Pretty easy. Yeah. So I would have gone to Troon again. It's just that I was there a couple of weeks ago for the first time in about 20 years, so I'm not going to bother going to Troon. I'm just going to meet this guy in Kilmarnock in the Asda car park. He should be quite easy to find. He was having a bit of a laugh. He's just bought as I said, he's trading in against a new car, and it's black with a purple roof. Is that up here? Okay, is that up here? I think the guy mentioned it might be it's a bit of a midlife crisis for him. It's like he's 55 or something like that, and he's like, I shouldn't really be buying a car with a purple roof, but man, go for it. Totally awesome. Great for finding folk. If you're meeting somebody in the Asda car park, look for a car with a purple roof. I don't think there's going to be very many. He said what I think it was a Citroen. I don't know car models very much. But it's a good idea having a recognisable car for doing this sort of thing. So basically I'm just driving down the M77 again to Kilmarnock. There's another, I was originally just going to go and pick, he said he was going to pick up his car and I was just going to go down afterwards, but there's another thing down there which is down past Troon, down on the other side of the Ayr. I think it was Mabel. It said there was a guy selling a big pile of guitar parts for 50 quid, and it's like, looking at it, it's a good buy. There's a Warman pickup in the Warman pickup, a pile of generic Strat pickups, a couple of Strat scratch plates, 3 or 4 cheapy Strat trems, a couple of telly bridges, and a sort of pointy headed, he calls it a Telecaster neck. And it's like, if I needed any of those bits, I would have gone for it, especially now that I'm no longer going all the way to Troon, so it's kind of adding, I'm saving 10 minutes, so it's 20 minutes in total, and then this would be another 20 minutes on top of that, so I'm just not going to bother with that. It does look like a good buy, but it's one of those things that it would be totally worth it if I was looking for any one of those items. I'm going to be able to use them up, eventually, but it's like, I really don't need to have a few, Strat bridges, like a few extra Strat bridges, and I don't need any more pickups. I've got plenty, because every time, I generally tend not to buy, guitars that don't have all the parts on them. because it's actually, it doesn't sound right, but the cheapest way to buy a guitar is definitely not to buy the whole, is to buy the whole guitar, basically, with maybe one bit missing. If you just think like, oh, I'll buy a body and then I'll buy a neck and then I'll buy tuners and then I'll buy, you know, a bridge and then I'll buy a pickup, and then suddenly it just is, you know, you're up at 100 quid really quickly, even if you're buying stuff second hand. The best way to buy, if you're looking to get one to do up, just buy a Strat that's maybe, you know, occasionally there's, you know, there's a tuner missing or there's a bridge saddle missing, and, you know, replace that part, but basically buy the lot so you get everything, which will never be quite as cheap as, you know, Strat body a tenner. It's like, right, that sounds like a really good buy, but then you start thinking, well, you can pick up a Strat for 20 or 30 quid that's got all the bits. You know, it's got a neck, pickups, all tuners and all that, and all these wee things, even though it's only, I mean, I think it's like about a $5 for a set of tuners from China. But I don't know, with our fantastic Brexit, I'm not sure how eBay China's working. I noticed, I bought that fuzz pedal for 20 quid, buy it now on eBay, and everything changed as soon as I clicked buy it now and ended up paying 27. So that's the difference about not being in the EU anymore. It's £7 on a £20 pedal. That might have been just a one-off thing for me, but that's what it was. And you're just like, ugh, really annoying. Absolute, it's a woman. Jeez. Like undertaking me. Nothing wrong with being an undertaker, but not being a person who undertakes folk on a wee road like this. I'll just drive at whatever speed I want to. Yeah, so not really envisaging there being much scenery really. See, especially seeing as I was down here a couple of weeks ago. I'm so pleased that Trade Tuesday's back on. At least I've got one for this week. Well, today's Saturday, but I'll be putting this out on Tuesday. I'll put out the video of me complaining about how Trade Tuesday's Season 2 is pure flumped because of, basically because of Facebook Marketplace. Also, it's just luck. I think, I mean, I was just incredibly lucky that first run. Things just turned up. Oh, this is, I'm already starting to get annoyed today. It's like a local football team that was set up by the government to make sure 50% of the people here hate 50% of the other folk. Rangers have won something, I don't know, the league, the cup, something. I don't know, I'm not really interested in football at all. I just hate the bigotry and the hatred that goes along with it. I don't mind the actual game, football, but, and it's the UK government must be absolutely loving the fact that Rangers use a Union Jack. Yeah, because it's red, white and blue, and it's like, so there's Union Jacks hanging up, and you're just like, there shouldn't be any of them in Scotland. I'm interested to see what happens. So I mean, congratulations to Rangers for winning whatever it was they won. Cup, league, something, don't know, don't care. But I really wish you would just get a flag that just said Rangers on it, and then I could go, oh yeah, well done, instead of putting a Union Jack up, in which case I just go, ugh. Sorry, I got political again. I got political the other week when it was just before our election, which all the, I don't really want to get political. Labour and Tory are the two main United Kingdom parties. They're deadly rivals, and in order to not let Scotland get in, win anything, they teamed up. So you're basically voting for your biggest enemy, and then that managed to get them almost half the seats, but not quite. Well, nothing like half the seats actually. Scotland totally, the SNP totally won. But you can watch the news and watch them spin it, and they can make up all these special situations. Whereas if you look at it from a certain point of view, yeah, so if you take away all the people who voted on a Saturday or whatever, and just look at the postal votes, and then only look at folk over 60, the Tories won. Yep, that's true. But if you just look at the actual numbers, no, they didn't. So, yeah, enough of a rant over about that. I'm actually quite pleased I'm not going into Glasgow, into the centre of town today, because not that I'm saying that all football fans are thugs, but pretty much guarantee thugs are football fans. So you get your... I wish they would put a bit more of it on the news actually, when they show you the unionists. You know, that's when you get like the folk with swastikas tattooed on their foreheads, skinheads. You know, you're just like that. Those people are the ones who like to demonstrate and, you know, smash up shops and stuff like that. That's the way. Not that I'm saying all Rangers fans or all football fans in general are like that. I've come to realise that basically it was set up. They thought, whenever they were setting up the football leagues, they went, let's have a Catholic team and a Protestant team, and let's make those two hate each other, like total hatred, and that means that us, the government, can do whatever we want, and they're too busy fighting amongst themselves. Smart move. I mean, clever stuff, divide and conquer and all that. And again, as I said there with the Union Jack thing, they've been pretty much the only people who are going to vote to stay in the United Kingdom are people who've never looked anything up and just decided they've never, you know, they just ignore the news or whatever. They've never actually done any research or any thinking at all. Or it's people who, I'm a big Rangers fan, Rangers is United, the Union Jack as a flag, therefore I'll support it regardless. And you're like that, right? Not the way to do that thing. I do appreciate my football team is best thing. I can understand that. I can understand it in any situation. A Celtic fan, Celtic are the best team in the world, even if they lose 10 games in a row, whatever. Or Rangers, it works either way. Then yes, I can understand it's your football team, they're the best team in the world, that's fine. Not the same when you're talking about something that, I'm going to say matters, because football does matter to a lot of people. Just because it doesn't matter to me. In fact, I actively dislike it. Basically for the bigoted reasons. If it was just folk from this town hating folk from that town over there, it wouldn't bother me, but it's the whole split the country right down the middle where all the Catholics hate all the Protestants and all the Protestants hate all the Catholics. And when I say all, I mean the extreme end, you know, 10% of them or whatever on both sides are as bad as each other. And then you get the people who just like watching football. Or what was it, my pal used to be, I've not seen him in years. He classed himself as a 90-minute bigot. And it's like, which was, I suppose, kind of in the spirit of things, it's just as long as you can turn off after the 90 minutes. Because he was pure, mega anti-Catholic, super blue nose, you call it, for 90 minutes when the game was on. And then after that, it's like his girlfriend was Catholic. I mean, it's like when his pals, it doesn't make any difference, you know. It's like, so he wasn't bigoted in his everyday life, but he was for that 90 minutes, which I suppose is fair enough. You're just getting in with the spirit of things. But I think an awful lot of people can't turn that off. You know, so during the week they see somebody with a Celtic strip, they decide to go and run them over or something. You're just like, or a Rangers strip. I don't have a preferred side. My preferred side would be, I don't know. Someone said, what football team do you support? I would say Clyde. I don't know whether they're which side of the religion they're on. You know, it doesn't bother me, but I have seen them. The last football game I was at was Clyde. Clyde did used to play in Cumbernauld, which is about, I don't know, 5 miles away or something like that. They're like a wee, I don't even know what league they're in, a lower down one. And the thing I did like about that though, when I went to the game, there was folk individually shouting at the other team, and they could hear you because it was like, it's not that big. So it's like, you know, like you're, I don't know. Tom, you missed that. That was awful. And you could see the guy on the pitch going, sod off, man. It's like, I was trying, you know. And it's like, it kind of made it a completely different thing where you can individually shout at players on your team and on the other team. It's like, and they can hear you. I'd actually really enjoyed that football game. I can't even remember who they were playing. Was it St Mirren? I can't remember. And there was like, you know, I don't know, a group of, 20 or 30 hardcore for each team who were giving it the full-on singing, shouting, swearing, and being unbelievably abusive towards the other fans. And then as soon as the game was over, you know, they'd be talking to each other, and there was no animosity. It really literally was like, just for this game, you are the enemy and I hate you, and you hate me, and that's fine. And then after it, it's like, you know, never any fights or anyone actually getting. It's kind of the option, which I kind of like. I think it's a bit of a Glasgow thing. When you're trying to offend someone, you try and make it really funny, so that, you know, it's like you are getting, yes, somebody is calling you a bastard or whatever, but it's really funny, so they're making you laugh, and then that becomes a challenge. It's not a challenge to say the nastiest thing or to actually have a fight. It's to be really witty and say something pure scathing that is really funny that everyone can laugh at, and you know, you just kind of go, yeah, okay, that was a good one, well done, man, and then good stuff. Okay, right, so that's me just in Glasgow now, just about to hit the M77 down to Kelly. Oh, and I've just hit traffic. Boogar. Is this guy actually going to let me in? Is he? Is he? Thanks for that, man. Thank you. So put the indicator on for 100 yards, and then you'll just right up the side of me. Fantastic. Okay, catch you all later. What the hell is that? Looks like they're building a ship. Like, well, yeah, if it was on the side of the river, then building a ship was fine, but it's like, I don't know, I assume it's some sort of bridge. No idea, just in the centre of town. Okay. Right, it's a couple of minutes later and I'm regretting. I shouldn't be talking about religion and football teams. I'm sorry. It just grinds my gears a little bit. I wish it didn't happen. I wish there was some other way around it. It's in there about the not liking the Rangers fans using the Union Jack. I never liked the Celtic, that's the other side, using the Irish flag either. Why don't you both just use the saltire and go like that? Yeah, we're all Scotland. Yeah. I didn't actually lose any subs, which I was quite pleased with when I mentioned it last time, but I mean, I think it's different. What's important is guitars. I'm here talking about guitars, not about anything else, and it shouldn't really matter if I'm a religion or whatever religion I am. If you're into guitars, that's my thinking about it. I kind of be the same, I don't know, the same view on, I don't know, the LBG, it sounds homophobic just saying it, whatever it is, LGBT or whatever it is. Yeah, totally fine, do whatever you want. I don't necessarily really want to talk about it. Yeah, if you're into guitars though, you want to talk about Black Sabbath, I don't care what binary you are or anything like that, that's totally fine. I think they should have the same rights as everyone else, to be honest, which is probably another controversial issue. So just an awful controversial today, isn't it? And my usual controversy is like pure, I don't like the new guitars, basically. Actually, I saw a guitar, did I mention it? I think I might have mentioned the video yesterday, but I'll mention it again today. After I had that Yamaha Pacifica 611, I think it was, in for a setup last week. Really impressed with it. When I saw another one, it wasn't as nice looking though. It was just a kind of plain colour, but it was an 8 series Pacifica, and it was only 200 quid, and it came in a hard case. And it's just, will be an absolute belter of a guitar. And a Floyd Rose, I'm not that keen on that. And it, it doesn't look particularly interesting, but what an absolute stonker of a guitar for a couple of hundred quid. 100% giggable, pro level, recordable, all that stuff, absolutely no problem. But on a lighter note, as I've mentioned, I'm playing a party. Have I mentioned this? I probably have. The drummer in my band, Cranking House, is having a bit of a festival in his garden with camping and stuff like that. It would be amazing. And there's 4 bands on. The drummer is in 3 bands, so his band's in a punk band. He's in the band with me, where I'm playing guitar, Cranking House. There's also a Led Zeppelin band, which I have definitely mentioned before, that I was almost in a couple of times. I figured 2 bands is enough for me, so he's in that. So it's like the punk band, Cranking House, the Led Zeppelin band, and then after the end, the Black Sabbath band that I'm in. So it's going to be an absolute riot. And I've been sitting there trying to decide which guitars and which basses to use. It's like I've got twice, I've got so many, it's not a case of, well, which one do I choose? It's like, I don't have a choice of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10. I've got more than that, so it's like trying to find the right ones. I think I'm going to use my Ibanez Blazer, the one that I dip painted and it glows in the dark for cranking house. I'll take my Soft-Tech amp, and I think the second guitar I'm going to use is I think I'm going to take the Flying V, the Arbiter Flying V, just for showy offiness. Playing a Flying V is pure rocking, but also there's a wee girl who's meant to be, who's Ali's, the guy he does weights with, his daughter I think, wants to play Enter Sandman, Metallica song, like along with a backing track, and I think we're going to play, instead of using the backing track, we'll just join Cranking House for a song. So that could be quite interesting, and because it's a Metallica thing, my Arbiter Flying V is the same guitar as James Hetfield's white Flying V, even though James Hetfield's has a Gibson sticker on it. It wasn't a Gibson, it was actually a branded Electra, which was because he was in America, whereas mine's branded Arbiter, which is a shop in London who imported it. So somebody, whoever company imported it, but it's basically exactly the same guitar, but white. Mine's cherry red. So I think I might use that. Another thing on the side of that is I get a sort of perverse pleasure of playing through cheaper stuff, and I got that Arbiter really cheap and the Ibanez really cheap. So I think out of the 4 bands that are playing, I will have the 4 cheapest guitars. Yeah, because for the Sabbath band I'm going to use the EBO that's painted in stripes, because it looks like the one that Sabbath used in Top of the Pops, and Geezer Butler played in Top of the Pops in 1978. And I was using the Washburn Vulture, which is a lovely bass, a big expensive through neck brass, weighs a ton, all that stuff. And last night or the night before, I was sitting there looking at it and I was wondering if basically just choose the easiest to play guitar. Because I was thinking about it, actually when I was playing Ivor's bass, the Epiphone Embassy bass, it was really easy to play. And I was thinking, right, I'll just choose the old kind of sound. I'm playing through fuzz pedals really loud anyway, so the sound's not really as much of an issue, but just get one that's really comfortable to play. So I think I'm going to play my Aria TSB Thor sound bass, which is basically sort of like a slightly pointier P bass, which kind of, Geezer Butler used a P bass, so it kind of looks right. Doesn't have the right headstock. It's got an Aria headstock. It's a 32-inch scale, and it's really battered, but it plays so easily. And I tried it last night to see if the 32-inch scale could handle the C-sharp tuning, and it can. So I think I might use that. So in my sort of own little perverse world, I will be playing with incredibly, not cheap new stuff, but cheap that I got stuff. I think I paid 20 quid for that bass off my pal Scott in bits. I had to do some work on it to make it work. So using that, and then the Epiphone bass was like 20 quid as well, because the neck was snapped, but I fixed it through my Marshall bass amp, the one that's after the end logo, so that was 30 quid some, and a £20 multi-effects unit, which I'm basically using for fuzz, wah-wah for NIB, and a tuner, which was 20 quid. So my entire bass rig, consisting of 2 differently tuned basses, amp, and all the pedals I'm using as in one, is going to come in at about 100 quid in it. So it's like £30, 50, 70, 90, plus a tenner for 2 leads to connect them together. So there you go, playing a gig, Black Sabbath gig with 2 basses for 100 quid. And in that was another one of the reasons I was thinking about using the Flying V, apart from the Metallica connection, which I quite like. It's coming in, it's going to be round about the same sort of price. I think 30 quid I paid for that, or something stupid for me. It's shocking. I had a broken neck, I had to fix it. And the Ibanez Blazer, 25 quid. So yeah, so there we are at 55. The Soft-Tech cost 50 quid brand new by absolute fluke. I had no idea what I was buying 20 years ago, and I ended up with an amp that's worth like £1,000 for 50 quid brand new. You know, so we're still coming in at under 200 quid. The thing that's let me down a little bit is that the 3x12 cabinet, which I totally want to use because it's so much better having the angled speakers. It really disperses the sound really well. Hold on, I'm getting close. I don't think this is where I want to be. because I'm going to Asda, it didn't have a postcode. I'm sure I could have looked and probably got a postcode. So I'm just going to wing it. It doesn't look far off the Kilmarnock 3. Okay, I'm not there yet. Where was that? Yeah, the 3x12 cabinet. I can't remember what I paid for that. The guy had it advertised, I think it was 100 quid. Which would be awesome. If you see one for 100 quid, totally buy it. But I swapped it for a Dan Electro free speech pedal and some money. I can't remember how much. I can't remember what it worked out at. I think I gave him the pedal of 30 quid, something like that. So I think if you take into account the pedal, I think I ended up paying 70 quid, something like that for it. I mean, I shouldn't be looking for things that are cheap to use. These are things I was going to be using anyway. I would be using the Softtech, I'd be using that cabinet anyway, and I was going to use the Ibanez Blazer because it's funky looking and it's also, again, really easy to play and it just does the job. I had it in the studio a couple of weeks ago and it just sounded phenomenal. It was just, it's got really hot single coil pickups, super 6 pickups, and it really, I think I'm a Strat guy now, which I never thought would ever happen. I was always SG, but now I'm thinking, even though I'm going to take the, as I said, the Flying V anyway, more for the show-offy element of it. You know, I mean, okay, you can watch see bands playing guitars, but a Flying V is the ultimate show-off guitar, really, isn't it? And also, I've actually talked to my pal Wayne. Well done, Wayne. He's getting better now. He's had a heart operation. It turned out he had a couple of months ago. He kept feeling a bit funny for a week. So it turned out he'd been having like half a dozen heart attacks. They're terrifying. And so he ended up getting his thing, his operation, just 2 weeks ago. And I invited him to this party I'm playing at, but it's too. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and I think if you're still recovering from a heart operation, you don't really want to be going to a mega drink-a-thon. They're not going to that, but I'm going down for Wainstock, which is down in Colville, because Download's not on. Oh, Wayne Load, we're calling it. I can't remember. Whatever. So basically, there's a wee pub which is about 100 yards away from his house, a biker pub called the Vic, I think. And they're having a festival at the end of July, so hopefully, assuming lockdowns are going to be up and stuff, I might be going down for that. And it's like it showed me some of the bands. I don't think there's any. It's not so much cover bands, but it's all like original bands. And it's like I was looking at it, and he sent me videos of the headliners, and I really don't like any of them. But it'll be good for drinking. And I was thinking, oh, it's guitars, because then if you're going to see tons of bands playing in a pub, half the fun is what kind of guitars they all playing, and give them a point system. We're thinking 0 points for slash coloured Les Paul, because that's boring. So you get points for an interesting guitar. So the winner of another little thing is going to be whoever's got Japanese guitars or something exciting. Sounds fun. Right, I'm only 5 minutes away from this place. I might actually even ask the guy if it's okay to do a video in video. There's this fantastic new purple roof car. And I might actually, I'll put the video on and say, I'm filming this, is it okay? If it's not okay, I'll not put it into the, I'll not put it online. Obviously I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make him sign anything like that, but some people might be a bit shady about being online. Not that anyone's ever had a problem before. I do the same whenever I fix up somebody's guitar. I used to always ask, phone them and ask, is it okay if I do a video on your guitar? Now I just do the video, and if they have any problem, we'll just pull it, or I'll not upload it. I'll do the video anyway. And if somebody I don't know, I'll say, is it okay? And they're normally like, oh great, aye. I think these things come in handy if they ever want to sell the guitar anyway. If you're going to sell it, here's my junction here. If you're going to sell it in a couple of years' time, and there's a video of me playing it, then you know what it sounds like. I guess a sort of demo. It's all often handy. Right, I think this is my junction here. I'm basically just going to drive, and when I looked at it on Google Earth, there was only a couple of roundabouts, and it is an Asda. So the Asda's next to a B&Q. So if I can find an Asda or a B&Q, I'm laughing. The time is 12:37, and I said I was going to meet him. He was going to be there 2:15. So all set, rocking. Catch you soon. so near yet so far. I took the wrong turning off that roundabout, and then I ended up on the road going to Urban, and I could see the B&Q, but then I had to drive about 3 or 4 miles down the road, round a roundabout, and now that's me heading back the way I came. There is a junction coming up in a minute that says Kilmarnock, but I think what I'll do is I will go back to that roundabout that I took the wrong turning on, and then take the next exit, because I actually saw the B&Q, which is next to the Asda, apparently. I hope, assuming it's the same B&Q, and assuming it's the same Asda. So that should be interesting. Yeah, see, that's a Kilmarnock junction there, but that's put me into the unknown. Whereas this should be known, hopefully. There we are. Someone said they like to old buildings, or some sort of churchy thing. Quite pretty. I think that's B&Q over there, I believe, or somewhere nearabouts. See where we end up. I'm sure I definitely saw B&Q and a B&M. Might go into B&M, get myself some stuff. Yep. So I'm thinking services half a mile. Well, we were just on this roundabout. So now if you're coming back, when you take the wrong turn and you want to go back, and then you want to take the immediate left. Alrighty. Alright, okay for film? I'll take it. I'll take it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Do not lie. Yeah, so it's fine. Each new string's like, to be honest. I've already played it the last 6 months.
Yeah, nice. I've kind of always wanted one of these, just because it's like a bit odd.
Aye, that's why I got it.
It's just not. What is it? It's a strap.
It's a mix between the Strat, the Telly, and the Jazz Precision.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Aye.
No, that is awesome. Everyone was going great until I went on that route. As it always happens with these things.
I've had a nightmare.
Yeah, no, that's right.
My bloody bank's down. My bank's down, online banking, card, everything. It's been a bloody nightmare for me just to get this bloody card. And I'd cancel.
It's cool. It's a purple roof, it's not quite as purple as a
No.
It's a little bit tasty. What's the pounds? That's smashing. I would shake your hand, but we're still not allowed to do that.
No.
I think that's us back in lockdown.
Especially not with bloody Glasgow, eh? What's happening? It's just everybody's been. I mean, I work in Glasgow, but.
I mean, there's so many folk that after well, it's all a hoax, and they're like, come on. It's like that. Maybe at the start. Come on.
I worked for a little while on the track and trace, so I know it's not a hoax.
No, it's not.
I guarantee you.
No, my girlfriend's in Taiwan just now, and they are going into lockdown again because there are 150 cases in Taiwan. That's not 150 deaths, 150 cases in 7 million people, and they're going into lockdown. I think their death toll just hit 10 last week. It was 9, and they're just like, how different do you do with it? They've obviously just gone, right.
Look at New Zealand. They did the same.
Yep,
That's
close the borders and then just hunker down and then it'll go away. Or wait. How many folk are dying? Not quite enough yet.
Yeah.
There's no folk dead. Then kick in. It's not a nice wee drive down.
Okay, mate.
I would have gone. I was picked up at the Zarin train a couple of weeks ago.
Alright, okay.
So I've already been to Troon and I took a bit of a video on the beach and stuff, and I was like,
You've ticked that one.
I'll tick that one. So it's not the most scenic place to come down here. It's kind of like just that boring road going up to Glasgow. And
Anyway, mate.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
I better remember not leave that sitting on top of the car. Thanks, Bracken. Thanks, man. That's me sorted. Lovely guy, lovely guitar. Looks really good. If I could think of somewhere nice, as I just said to the chap there, I don't know if you heard any of that. Yeah, he seemed to be alright with the filming thing. I'll just put it up. So I suppose the thing you often worry about these things is it's like that thing in Google Earth where somebody was there not folk caught coming out of a sex shop or something like that? You know, folk are meant to be at work, and it's like you can see it's like they're sitting in a, you know, in the McDonald's car park on whatever day it was, or it's like or doing something they shouldn't be doing, getting caught with their wife. I don't think that's the case here though. I could have gone to that. I'll get my shopping on the way home, so rather than do it here. I'm trying to think. I don't really think I really need. I need to get mince. Oh, shit. It seems to be dead busy here, isn't it? Annoying. Oh. That's quite an efficient little place to go. I did like his car. The purple roof wasn't quite as garish as I thought it was going to be. It was just slightly purple. Cool. Rocking, yeah. So the guitar looks really good. Don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. It's far too nice to be a Buckycaster for that. I'm just sitting there going. So it's got a humbucker on the bridge. I take it it's not. Does it have a push-pull pot? It does. Damn it. Sorry, it shouldn't be damn it. It should be so you can split the bucket in the bridge. That was I thinking the only mod I'm really going to do is I'll probably put a coil split on the bridge. I need to think of something to do to it really. It's got like a Telecaster. Well, it's got one of the old 51 P-base plates. It's sort of like a Telecaster plate, but doesn't have a pickup switch. It's just two knobs. So I need to. I feel I should do something to. I don't know. I'll try it out first. Put new strings on it, give it a clean polish, and then hopefully I'll do the other half of this video at some point. Stapled onto the end for Trade Tuesday. So if anyone's after a trade, assuming I don't absolutely love this guitar and have to keep it, I will trade it for something. And what am I looking for? Basically something worth more money than it is. I was looking them up on eBay. I think there was a couple for at like 250, 300 quid to buy it now. So I didn't actually get to look at completed listings yet, but I think probably a couple hundred quid's not pushing it. I was going to say especially once I've done some mods, but I don't know if there's really any mods I want to do to it. Maybe, I don't know. Because it's kind of cool anyway the way it is, having the humbucker in the bridge, single coil in the neck, and then a coil split, so you've got your full-on duosonic sounds, which I really like and rate. Maybe I'll see if I can find. I've actually got an end whistle pickup. I kind of don't want it. I know it. Well, what year did I say it was? I don't think I said, but I looked it up. It's a 05, so it's going to be vintage in 4 years' time. And then when it starts being vintage, do you want it to be original? You know, just sticking a Seymour Duncan in it or something to actually reduce the value of these things. I do actually have a Seymour Duncan I got recently that I've not found, but it's a chrome covered one that could work. Could work. Actually, looking at it, I notice it's got like so you've got like a tobacco sunburst Strat, roughly Strat shaped body, white scratch plate, chrome hardware, white pickup, and a black humbucker with a black surround. Kind of looks stuck on. I think that maybe what they were going with that is a sort of, it's one of your modified ones that doesn't really look like it's part of it. Maybe a white humbucker or something like that would be maybe quite good. Oh, you've timed that perfectly, mate. Like if you're good, when you join a motorway, try and match the car that's already there. Ideally you want the car that's on the motorway to either not have to slow down much or not speed up much. That guy decided what I was going to do is I'm going to come down and I'm going to line up dead inside with that guy already on the motorway. And that's it raining. And it's actually just got significantly more minging in the last 5 minutes. If I could think of somewhere cool to stop, somewhere scenic, and it's not raining, I've got my car amp. with me. It's like I was going to. No, I normally take the car amp, and what I do is, you know, you can say, oh, here we go, it's working, and that's fine. Or, oh, the electrics don't work, don't they? Oh, offer a bit less. Not worth it. I'm not a haggler if what I'm buying is solid. I do know some folk that do that though. You know, it's like, oh, I bought this beer, I saw this pure amazing guitar for 30 quid. It's alright, well, I got it for 20, like that, but it was already a pure bargain at 30. So yeah, I just wouldn't haggle in that situation. Even though I think you can probably get away with it, but I'll haggle if there's something wrong with it. You know, if someone says, here's a guitar, 50 quid, everything works fine, and then you look at it and it's missing a tuning peg or something, it's like, well, yeah, that's when you start going, it's not quite as advertised, I'll maybe haggle, but if it's fine, and that one seems to be, is it not? I doubt it's a one-piece neck. Nah, it's not, it's a separate fingerboard. If it had been a one-piece neck, I would have been struggling to get rid of it, because I've got a fetish for one-piece maple necks. They're just fab. I'm trying to think of it. Does my Ibanez Blazer have a one-piece neck? I don't even know. I mean, I don't think it actually makes any difference to the sound, I just like the idea of it. Aye. So this video is going to be well long, because I've been in a ranty mood. Maybe it's just because I've only just woken up, sort of. Well, can't really say I've just woken up, it's 1 o'clock. But it's a Saturday, so I'm allowed to wake up at 9 and get out of bed at 10. And I forgot to buy a Kelly pie as well. I'll maybe go to Aldi on the way home. Maybe do I fancy a Kelly pie? Probably not, actually. It's one of those things that, because I buy all my food in the wee co-op at the top of the road, when they're going out a date today, you often get steak pies. So steak pie is one of the things I often I eat quite a lot, and you know, when you're paying 30 or 40p for a couple of them, it's like, that's much better than spending £1 on a Kelly pie. Yeah, so if anything else interesting, or I think of something super cool to say, I'll get back, but if not, I'll see you. I doubt very much that this will be the last bit of the video. I'll end up rabbiting on about something else. See you back in the house on another day with a different t-shirt on. Rockin'! And I'm back at the house, and it's Tuesday. It's Trade Tuesday. And here's the Squire 51. It was a little bit dirty, but really that was all that was wrong. It was also a little bit missing from one of the tuners. There's wee white plastic washers in there. I don't know how you would buy them or where you get them. What you really want to do is have a big massive bag of broken tuners that you never threw it, and then you can just look through them. And I thought I was going to be spending looking through 10 different tuners and trying to find this wee stupid washer, and I literally just went, there's one, and it was perfect. I was like, yay, is this going to be a bit funny? No, it's cool. Yeah, so this is a 2005 Indonesian Court Squire 51. In pretty much mint condition, apart from it's got a bash in the bottom here. You can see it. Interesting wood this is made of. See, it's like you get like strips of wood. Well, this one's kind of, you can see there. It's like one bit, 2 bits, 3 bits, then a big bit. Don't know how they're doing that. I think it's a basswood body, hardtail bridge, humbucker, strat neck pickup. It's got a push-pull pot that splits the humbucker into a single coil. I was looking at it, it opened up, and it was like, oh, what is this? It was like some sort of mad rotary switch. I realised there's no pickup selector. Yeah, so it's a 3-way pickup selector, so all the way back is bridge, both, all the way forward. Was looking at it and thinking, if I could put a 4-position rotary in there, and then I could have like the 3 normal sounds and then have like a triple bucker or like a phased sound as well. But as I said, I think in the video, these are actually getting to be worth money, so maybe just keeping it in as original as condition as possible. There's a little bit of history behind these. Came out, I think it was 2003 or 2004. I looked up with Wikipedia when I got home, and it's like they made them for a few years, like I think 2003 to 2005 or 2006 or something, and then they stopped making them, and then they started making them again. My pal Wayne was saying that someone was telling him about it, said Fender weren't happy with it or something. I don't know, because this is actually one of the first ever Squire original designs, and obviously now you sit there and you see the Fender alternate reality or whatever that series is called, where you get all your, you know, a Strat body with Jazzmaster hardware on it and telly pickups and a Strat and all these things. This is kind of the first idea for that sort of idea. I think it might be called Pawn Shop as well. So we've got a Strat body. It's quite a thin body. It's the same thickness. Oh, there you go. It's another one. It's the same sort of thickness as the Bullet Mustang. It's a little bit weird. Does have the contour on the top and on the back. You can see it is solid wood because the sunburst goes all the way around the outside. Very, very nice looking. It looks stunning. Hard tail. I don't really know what kind of fender that would come on. It's not through strung. It's just top loaded. P-bass, 51 type P-bass pickup. Scratch plate and a Strat thingy. Strat shape, Telecaster neck, and it is a Telecaster neck as opposed to being just a Strat neck with a Telecaster headstock. It's distinctly Tele-ish. It's that shape, whatever the correct terminology is for that. Yeah, so I will get onto the demo of the guitar. It's only about 3 minutes, that's fine. I know you're probably about an hour into this video, but there you go. In the video I was complaining about, this was on Saturday when I was driving through town and I saw like the Rangers won the cup or the league or something, and I was getting pretty annoyed about it and stuff like that. It wasn't until Sunday when one of my pals, a couple of my pals were pure raging about it. I'm like, alright, I'll let them do their thing. And it's like, what an embarrassment to Scotland, really. Sorry, like the Rangers fans in George Square. Saw videos and they're all fighting with each other and hitting each other with bricks and throwing barriers at the police, and you're just like, really? For football? So, kind of ashamed, maybe a little bit pleased that they're not all toting the Saltire and they've got the Union Jack. It's like, you know, really, thugs are the worst order and a thorough embarrassment to our country. Yeah, so here we go. So I'm playing through Lady VC15 as usual, no pedals on. I'm using that 3x12 cabinet because it's really cool and more is better. So this is the neck pickup. So I had this to bits to clean it, and this neck pickup's actually quite lower. It's lower here than it is there, and you adjust it from taking the scratch plate off. But it sounds really right, so there might be a reason for it being like that. Maybe there's, because obviously the thick strings create more of a magnetic field, therefore they're louder than the thin strings, so maybe having a slight kink here, it seems to work, but it seems to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it really annoyed you, just take off the scratch plate. In fact, I would pretty much guarantee that you could take the scratch plate off without even detuning it. You know, it's just like the 10 screws, they'd slide it up and there'll be an adjustment screw to raise it up, but I wouldn't do that. Both pickups. And then bridge humbucker. Humbuckers never sound that good clean. Yeah, it says it's in tune. I think sometimes I think my ears are slightly better than a tuner. Better. Yeah, so bridge humbucker, pull it out, bridge single coil. It's already better for cleaning. Both of them on with this one as a single coil. Yeah. may have to cut this video, pause this video, someone can drop off a guitar. Neck pickup. Really nice guitar, this is. Both pickups, the bridge split. Jolly old US Dream for a bit of distortion. Bridge pickup single coil. Humbucker. Try go, fretboard. Both pickups. Back to bridge. Over more distortion. Much better. Single. I really love that pedal, but it's really the worst thing for showing off what a guitar actually sounds like, because it just makes everything sound the same. You know, you can change pickup and it's like, did you? it kind of passes the telly test, to be honest. That's how I normally kind of... You can kind of tell when I watch my videos and I start going down there. It's kind of, that's me in my head saying, that sounds like telly, because I don't know, for some reason in my head that's where tellies are played. Very and yeah, so really it doesn't have a tone control, I suppose, technically, because it's got this 3-position rotary. I can see, looking at it, why they did that, because it looks absolutely brilliant. Maybe better with a pickup selector rather than the rotary pot, though, if I was designing this from scratch. The thing about that is you can see, looking at it, whether it's in the humbucker split or not, but you can't tell what pickup you're on. By looking at it, you have to go, oh, yep, on a bridge, or that could obviously easily be solved by putting on like knobs with numbers on it, or like a knob with a, you know, like a what do you call it? Like an indicator, you know, like what do you call the wee line in a knob that tells you what it's set to? Something like that. Sorted. But so maybe that could be an upgrade for the future. It'd be a reversible one as well. Maybe get one of those wee things. I don't know what the technical term is. The finger bleeders. I put them. In fact, I'll show you this guitar. You'll see. This is exactly how I would do it. So these wee metal things. You can get an angle, you can see them. Don't want to be seen. So it's just like a washer with a wee nub on it. So there you can see that currently the tone control is at full, because there's the wee nub. There's tone control, and it's got a line on it telling you where it is. So do that, and that's totally you could easily reverse that. You just put on, and whatever kind of knob it is you put on, and then it's just an extra washer. I don't know what they're called, some indicator or something like that maybe. But it's a fantastic guitar. It's also, looking at Wikipedia, according to Wikipedia, this is a rare one because it's normally they've got a one-piece neck, which I really like. This has got a separate fingerboard, but I will take photos of it. I don't know if you'll see it in this, but there's actually quite a lot of nice bird's eye on the fingerboard. Yes, it's quite nice. You couldn't see it because of the dirt when I got it, but when I cleaned it off, I was like, yeah, that's not dirt, that's bird's eye maple. Yeah, but as you can see, so it's like a separate fingerboard from the back of the neck. It's got a skunk stripe, unnecessary as well. Maybe I get an angle there, you can see how nice the wood is. And it's like kind of bizarre the way they obviously had a big piece of wood and then 3 smaller bits. So like a more premium guitar would have just had 2 bits of wood, or maybe even 1. Don't think you get that very often, not these days. Yeah, so I think up for trade, basically, and Trade Tuesday, I think. Looking for trading for something but maybe needs a little bit of work that's worth more money, kind of thing, something a bit more interesting. Maybe, no, I'm not going to be that upset. This is actually the first time I've ever had a chance to actually play it. I was getting rid of a backlog first. Kind of one of those ones I quite like to keep for a couple of weeks, to be honest, just to... Kind of reminds me a little bit of the fact it actually goes quite well with my Squire Bullet. My Squire Bullet's the first ever Squire. It's the 16th ever built Squire, which is kind of one of my pals up here. Have you not already got one of them? And it's like, I can see why you're thinking that. The Bullet's kind of got like a sort of strap. It's slightly smaller body, with a Telecaster neck on it and a scratch plate. It's a slightly odd shape, so it's kind of the same sort of thing where you look at it and go, it's obviously a Fender, but what one is it? It's a bit of a weird one. Kind of like exactly what this is. I wasn't 100% sure whether I was keen on the look of it, but then, as what often happens with these things, I had it hanging on the wall and I was looking at it when I was watching telly in the corner of my eye. Now I think it looks absolutely awesome, so maybe take a little bit of looking at it till you get used to it, and then it's just cool, and it just seems to work. And it's like the original 51P bass had a Telecaster headstock, so it's like it's got that vibe. It looks of its time, and decent tuners on it as well. It's got the type that I've got, the sealed ones, and absolutely. But virtually, I would say, there's a few dinks, but I mean, it's only because it's so, you can't even see that one. There's a wee bit of a dink there, and it's been dropped there at some point, so it's a bit of scuffing there, but I mean obviously all the guitars you can see on the wall are more dinked than this one is. You get to a point where if I was buying it brand spanking new for a shop at full retail price and it had these dents on it, I'd be like, hey, money off, or I want another one. But if it's 15 years old, was it 2005, did I say? 2005, so, 4 years time it'll be a proper vintage, not just a vintage style. It will actually be a vintage Fender. And the prices for these will only go up because these are more desirable than the later on ones. Because they are. I didn't actually look into it that much online. I've decided I'm not putting in. I've got I've got more expensive pickups and stuff put in, but I don't think it doesn't. If it doesn't need it, don't do it. I mean, how could you want it to sound better than that? And you don't. Thinking about saying that it doesn't have a tone control, it kind of works because this neck pickup is so different. It's such a trebly bridge pickup. When you put it into the middle position or the neck position, you kind of don't need the tone. Maybe just roll the volume down a little bit if you want tone. Yeah, so and obviously I was thinking when I was driving home in the car, so it's already got a push pull for this. I'll make the other pot a push pull that does something else, and it's not. I can't make it a push pull because it's already a rotary. So I'll have a think about the 4-position thing, but I think that just makes things more confusing. It's easier if you've only got 3, then it's fine. It's actually the same. The guy, there's a guy coming shortly. He might just turn up at any minute. Want me to do my Yamaha RGX A2 mod. That's the one with the 2 lights in it, and I add a third light and a push-pull pot, so you pull up the volume control. It's got a rotary switch. I put a light in behind that as well, so instead of having just the green and the blue light, you get a green and a blue and another light, and when you put it, coil splits the humbuckers. Fantastic mod. It's superb. This will be the 3rd one I've done. I'm just hoping I've got the LEDs. I think I do. I might not have the wide range of choices of the colours, but see what happens. Oh, and while I'm actually here, I was talking to my pal Wayne and talking about Trade Tuesday. There's another couple I can squeeze into it. You may have seen videos for this, but this P-Bass isn't actually mine, but I will not have it in a couple of months' time, because if nobody buys it, I'll be sending it back. I'll be taking it back down to see Wayne. But this is an absolutely stonking P-Bass. It's fantastic. If this, I was just saying, see if this had like a Fender type headstock and wasn't painted like a tiger, this would be a pure £400-500 bass, no prob. It's brilliant. It's got Grover tuners. I've got cool sort of propeller type. Kind of reminds me of propellers or the glaive from Krull or something type tuners on it for me. I mean, and the bridge is the same as what's on the Vulture's not on the wall anymore. Same as what's on my Washburn Vulture. I replaced the scratch plate. So this Wayne was up. You're right. You try and trade it, see what happens. It's up here, right? Okay, so I'll maybe try and trade it. But I mean, I suppose just because I really like I've actually painted a few guitars. I didn't paint this one. This one's a factory Zebra. I've got a BC Rich that I've painted like this and a Hondo bass that I've kind of copied this idea with, painted it myself. So I'm a fan of the animal print. But I can see a situation where this isn't probably the ideal bass. I mean, sound wise and playability wise, it would do anything. But you know, if you're sitting there in like a Beatles tribute band or something like that, and it's like, can you really use this? Really? I've also got this one, which I'd actually forgotten about. I put an advert up and nobody's interested because it says Jim Deacon in the headstock, but it's a really high quality guitar, this one. This is, even though it's a small one, it's only like a 22 inch scale. It's a short scale, but it can handle normal strings. It's a 24 inch scale. So you know, like a normal Strat would be 25.5 inch, and a Gibson would be 24 3/4. It's a 24, so slightly smaller than a Gibson scale, but it just looks exactly Strat shaped. See? It's identical to the Strat on the wall, but it's a foot closer. So obviously, as it gets closer to the Strat, you start going, oh, hold on, it's quite a bit smaller than the Strat. This has my coil adder switching system in it. Utterly fantastic neck. Yeah, so it's you've seen videos on that. It's got a phase, and a high pass filter, low pass filter. Extra lever here, which gives you all your normal 5 sounds like a Strat. All your normal 5 sounds like a Strat, but they're all hum cancelling, and then all your 5 sounds like a Strat, but they're all a humbucker. And then you've got volume and bass and treble. So if anyone's interested in this, it's kind of a bit more of a curio. If you're looking for a travel guitar, it is a bit smaller than a guitar. It's that much smaller than a full-size guitar, so it's a little bit, but there really is very little compromise, apart from the fact it makes you look bigger. There's no alteration to play it. Like I've got a wee V I've been playing the last couple of days, and it's quite small. You really do have to alter the way you play to play that. You don't have to alter the way you play this. It's just the same. It's like, oh, it's a wee bit smaller than normal, isn't it? Yeah, but it's only like, you know, it's only a wee bit smaller. And maybe you can get better reaches if you're doing that sort of thing. You can maybe get a little bit further. But I think a lot of it's in your head when you see a guitar that's short scale. Also, another thing I think you see with the short scale guitar, I go, oh, that's one of those ones that only cost £60 unit. It's like, no, this was not a cheapy guitar. Clutch tuners, super gloss neck. Also, it's got this awesome DiMarzio clone in it. Yeah, so enough of my salesmanship. There's a few other things I've got that I could trade for Trade Tuesday, but I'll need to look them out. Try and make some more sense of it. I've been fixing guitars for other people of late. Yeah, so great. Loving being back on Trade Tuesday again. Not that it really makes that much difference, but I'll try and keep looking for things. And like I said, this is up for sale, but to be honest, I'd rather trade it first just to try and get as much out of it as I can, video wise as well. So I'll put this up for, well, maybe do it at the weekend, just Tuesday. I'll maybe put it on Friday night. I might put this up and just say, look, looking to swap for something interesting. But obviously there'll be folk up here, oh, I'll swap it for a Squier Affinity with no strings on it and half the tuner's missing. Yay, of course I'll do that. Wow, I see you've got a guitar there worth £200. Do you want this broken one, which if it worked would be worth 100? Yeah. No. But look for something Japanese. Because I mean, with this you are in the range of being able to pick up maybe a West Tone or an Aria or something like that. If anyone knew that, maybe that'd be right up my street. But that would end Trade Tuesday in a winner. Someone offered me a West Tone Padwhack for it. It's like, yep, that's not getting traded, thank you. I'll have that. That's the West Tone that I'm kind of wanting more than... It's kind of the missing one. I think it was the first ever West Tone. I really do quite fancy one of them. I'm sure they're awesome. Don't need any more West Tones. I've kind of got most of the ones I want, even though I always said I was going to try and get a Thunder at some point, but one of them will turn up. I'll get one, I'll find one in a skip or something like that, you know, and it's got no pickups and no tuners and no neck, and I'll make it work, and then I'll have my West Tone Thunder for cheap. Rockin'! Obviously, humbucker if I'm going to be giving it rock. Rocking. That was a bit to say one of the things I learned off Paul Gilbert. It was one of the only things I could really learn off Paul Gilbert that I could actually was able to do really easily. When you get to the end, roll that volume down. It sounds great, rather than it being like pure hey, and then it's just as things ring. So at the end of your show-offy riff, volume off. Rock on. See you next week. Well, the live stream will be back. No batteries in this thing, so I need to turn it on again. Live stream will be back on Sunday night, I think. I might need to not do all of them because we're having problems getting in, trying to book the studio for the 2 bands. So it's feasible that one week I might just not be able to do it because I'm in rehearsing. Maybe do a live one from the studio. That'd be mental. I don't know if I could do that. That'd be pure nerve wracking because it's not just me. It's a chance to make an idiot of myself. I don't really care if I make an idiot of myself. I don't want to tar the other 3 if we make a pure arse of it. And then it's like, oh no. Yeah. Rock on.